Commander Yoon stared at the display screen in disbelief. The numbers kept changing every few seconds. One moment they showed a massive energy signature in the outer rim of the Helios sector. The next moment nothing appeared on the screen at all. "Run the scan again," Yoon ordered his sensor operator. The young officer's fingers moved quickly over the control panel. "Same result, sir. The object appears for exactly 12 seconds, then vanishes completely. It shows up again in a different location 3 minutes later." Yoon walked closer to the main display. The Valorian Empire had ruled this galaxy for 3,000 years. Their technology was the most advanced known to any species. Their sensors could detect a single ship from 50 light-years away. Nothing could hide from their detection grid. Yet something was hiding right now. "What's the energy output reading when it appears?" Yoon asked. "Massive, sir. Bigger than our largest battleships. But the signature doesn't match anything in our database. It's not Zephyrian technology, not crystalline tech either. Nothing we've seen before." The monitoring station hummed quietly around them. It was one of 12 such stations that watched the Empire's outer borders. For 3 centuries, nothing interesting had happened here. Pirates sometimes tried to sneak through this sector, but they were easily caught and destroyed. This was different. Yoon activated his communication link to Imperial Command. The holographic image of Fleet Admiral Tay appeared before him. "What do you have for me, Commander?" Tay asked. "Unknown vessel in the Helios sector, sir. It's using some kind of advanced stealth technology. Our sensors can barely track it." Tay's expression changed. "Define barely track it." "The object appears on our screens for 12 seconds at a time. Then it vanishes completely. When it reappears, it's in a completely different location, sometimes hundreds of kilometers away." "That's impossible," Tay said. "Nothing moves that fast without leaving a trail we can follow." "I thought so too, sir. But I'm looking at the data right now." Tay was quiet for a moment. "Send me everything you have. I want every scan, every energy reading, every piece of data your station has collected." "Already transmitted, sir." "Good. Increase your alert level to yellow. Deploy patrol ships to establish a perimeter around your detection zone. If this unknown vessel tries to leave the sector, I want to know about it immediately." The communication ended. Yoon turned back to his crew. "You heard the Admiral. Yellow alert. Launch patrol ships and establish a perimeter. I want constant sensor sweeps of the entire sector." The monitoring station became busy with activity. Officers ran to their posts. The patrol ships launched from the station's docking bays. Within an hour, 12 fast attack ships formed a wide circle around the area where the unknown vessel kept appearing. Intelligence Officer Mai arrived from the inner system 3 hours later. Her ship docked with the monitoring station, and she went straight to the command center. "Show me what you've got," she said to Yoon. They watched the displays together. The unknown vessel appeared exactly on schedule. For 12 seconds it showed massive energy readings. Then it vanished again. "The pattern is too regular," Mi said. "No random movement would be this precise. Whatever this is, it's following a specific plan." "Any ideas what kind of plan?" "Could be reconnaissance. The vessel appears in different locations each time, but it's covering the entire sector systematically, like it's mapping everything." Yoon felt a chill run down his spine. "Mapping for what?" "That's what we need to find out." Mi studied the data for another hour. She had analyzed intelligence from hundreds of different species. She knew the technology signatures of every known civilization in the galaxy. This was something completely new. "The energy pattern is wrong," she said finally. "Wrong how?" "Every ship we know uses fusion reactors or antimatter cores. The energy signature has specific characteristics that let us identify the power source. This vessel shows energy output, but not from any reactor we understand. Could it be a new type of engine? Maybe. Or maybe it's not using an engine at all." The unknown vessel appeared again. This time, one of the patrol ships was close enough to get detailed scans. The pilot's voice came through the communication system. "This is Patrol 7. I'm getting visual contact with the unknown vessel. Describe what you see," Yoon ordered. "It's strange, sir. The ship doesn't look like anything in our identification database. The hull appears smooth, almost organic. No visible weapons or engine ports. And sir, what is it? It's beautiful. Like someone built a work of art instead of a spacecraft." The vessel vanished again before additional scans could be completed. Mi was studying the brief, visual data when Fleet Admiral Tay arrived at the station. His flagship brought 3 battlecruisers and a full squadron of fighters. Any progress? Tay asked. We've learned that whoever built this ship has technology we don't understand, Mi replied. They're not using conventional engines or reactors. The ship's design is unlike anything we've encountered. Could it be a probe from beyond the galaxy? Possible. But if it is, that means there's an advanced civilization out there that we know nothing about. Tay studied the displays showing the patrol ship positions. Have we tried to communicate with it? Not yet, sir. We weren't sure if it was friendly or hostile. Try hailing it. Use standard galactic protocols. Let's see if they want to talk. The next time the vessel appeared, the communication officer sent out a standard greeting message. It was transmitted in 12 different languages using protocols recognized throughout the galaxy. The unknown vessel responded immediately. The message came back in perfect Imperial standard, but the accent was unlike anything they had heard before. Valorian vessels, you are in violation of protected space. Withdraw immediately or face consequences. The communication ended. The vessel vanished again. Everyone in the command center was silent. Finally, Tay spoke. Protected space? This sector has belonged to the Empire for 800 years. Apparently someone disagrees with that, Mi said quietly. Find out who they are, Tay ordered. I want to know what species we're dealing with. I want to know where they come from. And I want to know how many ships they have. The unknown vessel appeared again, but this time it stayed visible for 30 seconds instead of 12. Long enough for the patrol ships to get detailed scans. The readings made no sense. The ship was there, solid and real. But according to their sensors, it was also partially existing in a dimension they couldn't measure. Yoon looked at the data and realized they were facing something far beyond their understanding. The Empire's 3,000 years of technological advancement suddenly seemed very small. The ghost ship vanished again, leaving them with more questions than answers. Captain Bin received his orders while his stealth frigate was patrolling the inner systems. The message was marked with the highest priority code he had ever seen. All ships of Stealth Squadron 7 are to proceed immediately to the Helios sector. Unknown vessel detected. Extreme caution advised. Bin had commanded stealth ships for 15 years. His squadron was trained to hunt down enemy vessels that tried to hide from Imperial sensors. They had never failed to find their target. This mission felt different. His 5 ships reached the monitoring station 12 hours later. Fleet Admiral Tay briefed them personally. We're dealing with technology we don't understand, Tay explained. The vessel appears and disappears at will. It claims this sector belongs to something called protected space. We need to know what we're facing. What are our rules of engagement, sir? Bin asked. Try to establish meaningful contact first. If that fails, attempt to disable and capture the vessel. Do not destroy it unless you have no other choice. We need to study their technology. Bin nodded. Understood, sir. One more thing, Captain. This unknown vessel has demonstrated capabilities beyond our current understanding. Don't take unnecessary risks. If things go wrong, withdraw immediately. The squadron moved into position around the area where the ghost ship usually appeared. They activated their stealth systems and waited. Communications Officer Sue was monitoring all frequencies from the lead frigate. She had trained in xenolinguistics and knew 17 different galactic languages. Her job was to establish communication with whatever species they encountered. Contact, announced the sensor operator. Unknown vessel appearing 2 kilometers off our starboard side. Bin looked at the tactical display. The mysterious ship had appeared exactly as described. Smooth hull, organic design, no visible weapons or engines. It was larger than his frigate but smaller than a battle cruiser. Sue, open a channel, Bin ordered. Channel open, sir. Unknown vessel. This is Captain Bin of the Imperial Navy. Please identify yourself and state your intentions in this sector. The response came immediately in perfect Imperial standard. Captain Bin, you and your vessels are still in violation of protected space. This is your final warning to withdraw. I don't understand what you mean by protected space, Bin replied. This sector has been Imperial territory for 8 centuries. Can we discuss this peacefully? There was a pause. Then the voice returned with a different tone. You truly don't know, do you? Don't know what? Stand by. The unknown vessel suddenly moved. In 2 seconds, it traveled from a stationary position to a location 3 kilometers away. Bin's sensors showed no engine trail, no energy discharge. Nothing that would indicate how it moved so fast. How did they do that? Bin asked his tactical officer. I don't know, sir. The ship just moved. like it stepped from one location to another. Sue was analyzing the communication frequencies. "Captain, there's something strange about their transmission." "What do you mean?" "The signal is coming from frequencies that shouldn't be possible to generate. Our equipment can receive it, but we couldn't transmit on those same frequencies." The unknown vessel moved again. This time it appeared behind Bin's formation. All 5 Imperial ships had to turn around to face it. "They're toying with us," the tactical officer said. "No," Bin replied. "They're demonstrating their capabilities. They want us to understand that they can move faster than we can react." The voice came through the communication system again. "Imperial vessels. We will attempt to explain. Your species has achieved spaceflight and basic fusion technology. You have conquered weaker civilizations and built an empire, but you are still children playing with dangerous toys." "Children?" Bin felt his anger rising. "The Valorian Empire has existed for 3,000 years. We have technology that can destroy entire star systems. We know about your technology. We have been watching your empire since its early days. We chose not to interfere because we hoped you would develop wisdom along with your weapons." Sue was recording everything. This conversation would change how the Empire viewed its place in the galaxy. "Who are you?" Bin asked. "We are human. We come from a world called Earth. Your empire expanded into space that we have been monitoring for your protection and ours." "Monitoring for our protection?" "Yes, there are forces in this galaxy that would destroy young civilizations like yours. We try to prevent that when possible." Bin's mind was racing. A species more advanced than the Empire? A species that protected others instead of conquering them? It didn't match anything in their historical records. "Prove that you're more advanced than us," Bin challenged. "Very well." The human vessel vanished completely. Bin's sensors showed nothing in the area where it had been. Then simultaneously it appeared next to all 5 Imperial ships at once. "Impossible," the tactical officer whispered. "There's only one ship, but it's in 5 different locations." Sue checked her instruments. "Captain, I'm reading 5 identical energy signatures. Either they have 5 ships that look exactly alike, or they're existing in multiple locations at the same time." The human voice came through clearly from all 5 positions. "We exist partially outside the normal space-time that your physics understands. This allows us to move in ways that seem impossible to your technology." All 5 images of the human ship vanished again. A moment later it reappeared in its original position. "Your demonstration is impressive," Bin admitted. "But why are you here? What do you want from us?" "We want nothing from you. We are here because your empire is expanding in directions that could lead to contact with hostile civilizations. We are trying to prevent a war that would destroy billions of lives." "What hostile civilizations?" "Species that view other intelligent life as threats to be eliminated. Your empire is strong by the standards of this region, but you would not survive contact with the true predators of this galaxy." Bin felt a chill. The Empire had always believed they were the strongest military force in known space. "How many of these predator species are there?" 17 major ones that we actively monitor. Hundreds of smaller ones. Most of them would consider your entire empire to be nothing more than a food source. Sue looked at her communication logs. "Captain, should I transmit this conversation back to Imperial Command?" "Yes, but encrypt it with the highest security codes we have." The human vessel began to move away slowly. "Wait," Bin called. "Can we meet with your leaders? Can we establish formal diplomatic relations? That decision is not ours to make. We are scouts and guardians, not diplomats. If your empire demonstrates wisdom and restraint, perhaps future contact will be possible." "How do we demonstrate wisdom and restraint?" "Stop expanding in the direction of the galactic core. Avoid the Kepler 452 system entirely. Do not attempt to develop weapons that manipulate space-time itself. And treat other species with more respect than you have shown in the past." The human ship was now moving steadily away from the Imperial formation. "Will we see you again?" Bin asked. "We are always watching. Whether you see us depends on your actions." The vessel vanished completely. This time Bin's sensors detected no energy signature at all. It was as if the ship had never existed. Sue finished encrypting the communication logs. "Transmission ready, Captain. Send it to Fleet Admiral Tay immediately. Mark it for the Emperor's personal attention." Bin stared at the empty space where the human ship had been. In 20 minutes, his understanding of the galaxy had completely changed. The Empire was not the dominant force they believed themselves to be. Somewhere out there, humans watched and waited with technology that made Imperial weapons look primitive. Even more disturbing was the idea that there were other species in the galaxy that could destroy the Empire easily. The humans seemed to be protecting them from threats they didn't even know existed. "Set course for the monitoring station," Ben ordered. "We need to make a full report." As his squadron turned toward the station, Ben wondered if the Empire would listen to the humans' warnings or if pride would lead them to disaster. General Wu stood in the deepest levels of Imperial command, surrounded by technology that officially didn't exist. The Emperor had authorized the use of their most classified weapon systems, reality-warping torpedoes that could track targets across dimensional barriers. "If these humans want to play dimensional games," the Emperor had said, "show them what our scientists have been working on in secret." The reality-warping project had cost the Empire billions of credits and 20 years of research. Only 12 people in the entire Empire knew it existed. The torpedoes could follow a target even if it jumped into hyperspace or tried to hide in alternate dimensions. Wu had never wanted to use them. The technology was barely understood and extremely dangerous. But the Emperor's orders were clear. Engineer So was running final checks on the torpedo systems. She had helped design them and understood their capabilities better than anyone else. "General, the torpedoes are ready for deployment," she reported. "But I have to warn you again about the risks." "Explain." "These weapons tear holes in space-time itself. We don't fully understand what happens to those holes after the torpedoes detonate. We might be creating permanent damage to the fabric of reality. The Emperor has weighed the risks. Deploy the weapons." So nodded reluctantly and activated the launch sequence. The torpedoes were loaded onto the Empire's fastest pursuit ships, 20 vessels equipped with experimental engines and the most advanced sensors the Empire could build. If anything could catch the human ghost ship, this fleet could. The pursuit began in the Helios sector where the humans had last been seen. Captain Ben guided the hunters to the exact coordinates where his encounter had taken place. "Sensor contact," announced the lead pursuit ship. "Human vessel detected 3 light-years away. It's moving toward the outer rim." General Wu was aboard the command ship personally. "All ships pursue and engage. Use the reality-warping torpedoes if necessary." The chase lasted for 6 hours and covered 12 star systems. The human ship seemed to know exactly where the Imperial pursuit fleet was at all times. It stayed just ahead of them, always visible on sensors but never close enough to catch. "This doesn't make sense," So said, studying the tracking data. "They're not trying to escape. They're leading us somewhere." "What do you mean?" "Look at their course. They could have disappeared completely at any time, like they did before. Instead, they're staying just ahead of us, making sure we can follow them." Wu examined the navigation charts. The human ship was leading them away from Imperial space, toward the empty regions beyond the galaxy's spiral arm. "Why would they want us to follow them?" "I don't know, but we're about to find out." The human ship suddenly stopped near a red giant star that wasn't marked on any Imperial charts. The pursuit fleet surrounded it quickly but maintained a safe distance. "Launch the reality-warping torpedoes," Wu ordered. 4 torpedoes fired simultaneously from different ships. They moved through normal space for a few seconds, then vanished into dimensional rifts that tore visible holes in the fabric of spacetime. The torpedoes reappeared around the human ship from 4 different angles. There was no way to dodge attacks that came from other dimensions. The human ship didn't try to dodge. All 4 torpedoes struck their target and detonated. The explosions created massive distortions in spacetime that would have destroyed any normal vessel. When the distortions cleared, the human ship was completely undamaged. "Impossible," Wu whispered. The human voice came through the communication system with what sounded like amusement. "General Wu, your reality-warping torpedoes are quite impressive for a young civilization. However, we exist naturally in the dimensions your weapons try to access artificially." "How did you know my name?" "We know everything about your pursuit fleet. We know about your secret weapons project. We know about the risks Engineer So warned you about. We've been monitoring your communication since you left Imperial space." So was studying her instruments in disbelief. "General, our communications are encrypted with quantum locks. Nothing should be able to break them." "We're not breaking your encryption," the human voice explained. "We're reading the quantum states directly before they're encrypted. Your technology assumes that information can only be accessed through specific channels. Ours doesn't have that limitation." The human ship began moving again, but slowly this time. The Imperial fleet followed. "Where are you taking us?" Wu demanded. "To see something your empire needs to understand." They approached the red giant star. As they got closer, SO's instruments detected massive artificial structures in orbit around the star. General, I'm reading constructed objects, huge ones. Some of them are larger than our home planet. The structures became visible as they approached. Massive ring-shaped constructions surrounded the star at different orbital distances. Each ring was covered with what looked like collection panels. What is this place? Wu asked. This is a power collection station, the human explained. We harvest energy directly from stars to power our civilization. This particular station has been operating for 3,000 years. So was analyzing the energy readings. General, the power output from those rings is incredible. They're collecting more energy than our entire empire produces. One of our smaller installations, the human noted. We have 732 such stations throughout this region of the galaxy. The implications hit Wu like a physical blow. Humanity had the power output of entire stars at their disposal. The Empire's most advanced reactors were tiny candles compared to this technology. How many humans are there? He asked. Approximately 40 billion spread across 215 worlds. 40 billion? The Empire has over 2 trillion citizens across 3,000 worlds. Yes, but you spread your population across many planets to control territory. We concentrate ours to minimize our impact on the galaxy's ecosystem. 40 billion humans with our technology can accomplish more than 2 trillion of any other species we've encountered. The human ship moved closer to one of the collection rings. As they approached, smaller vessels became visible. Hundreds of ships that dwarfed the Imperial pursuit fleet. Those are our construction ships, the human explained. They maintain and expand the collection rings. Each one has more capabilities than your entire fleet combined. So is recording everything. General, this changes everything we thought we knew about galactic civilization. Why are you showing us this? Wu asked. Because your empire stands at a crossroads. You can continue expanding aggressively and eventually encounter predator species that will destroy you. Or you can learn from us and develop technology that allows you to exist peacefully in the galaxy. What kind of technology? Dimensional manipulation, energy collection from stars, non-aggressive expansion that doesn't threaten other species. The same technologies that have allowed us to survive for 10,000 years. Wu tried to process what he was hearing. 10,000 years. How is that possible? We learned early that survival depends on wisdom rather than conquest. We developed our technology to explore and understand the galaxy, not to dominate it. When we encountered predator species, we learned to hide rather than fight. But you could fight them with this level of technology. Yes, we could destroy any predator species we've encountered, but doing so would make us predators ourselves. We prefer to guide younger civilizations away from danger, rather than create more violence. The human ship began moving away from the collection station. Your pursuit is over. General Wu, you have seen what you came to see. Now you must decide what to do with this knowledge. What happens if the Empire chooses to continue its current path? Then you will encounter the Devourers or another predator species within 50 years. Your civilization will be destroyed and we will be unable to help you. And if we choose the path you're suggesting, then we will teach you what you need to know to survive in a galaxy full of dangers. You will join the community of peaceful civilizations that we protect and guide. The human ship vanished completely, leaving the Imperial pursuit fleet alone near the massive star collection station. Engineer, So looked at her readings one more time. General, we need to get this information back to the Emperor immediately. Yes, Wu agreed, but I'm not sure he's going to like what we have to tell him. The pursuit fleet turned toward home, carrying news that would change the Empire forever. Admiral J received the encrypted reports while his flagship was in orbit around the Imperial capital world. He read them 3 times before he believed what they contained. A species more advanced than the Empire, technology that could exist in multiple locations at once, warnings about predator species that could destroy entire civilizations. The Emperor himself had ordered Admiral J to take the Third Fleet to the Helios sector. The Third Fleet was the Empire's most powerful military force. 30 battle cruisers, 50 destroyers, and 200 fighter craft. Enough firepower to destroy most star systems. If these humans want to play games, the Emperor had said, show them what Imperial power looks like. Jay wasn't convinced this was the right approach, but he followed orders. The fleet reached the Helios sector 2 days after Captain Bin's encounter. Science Officer Hai was aboard the flagship specifically to study the human technology. She had spent her entire career analyzing alien tech. If anyone could understand how the humans achieved their impossible abilities, it would be her. Deploy the fleet in standard battle formation, Jay ordered. If the human vessel appears, I want it surrounded immediately. The third fleet spread across the sector in a massive grid pattern. Every ship had its weapons powered and ready. Advanced sensors swept the area continuously. They didn't have to wait long. The human vessel appeared exactly in the center of the Imperial formation. 30 battle cruisers surrounded it with enough firepower to destroy a small planet. "This is Admiral J of the Imperial Third Fleet," he transmitted. "You are now surrounded and outnumbered. Surrender immediately or we will open fire." The human response was calm and unworried. "Admiral J, you are making a mistake. We do not wish to harm your ships or crew, but we will defend ourselves if attacked. You are one ship against 30 of ours. What possible defense could you have?" We tried to explain this to Captain Bin. "Your technology operates within normal space-time. Ours does not. Please reconsider your actions." Jay had spent 40 years in the Imperial Navy. He had conquered 12 different species. No single ship had ever defeated his fleet. All ships target the unknown vessel. Fire when ready. 30 battle cruisers opened fire simultaneously. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes converged on the human ship from every direction. The weapons passed through empty space. The human vessel had vanished between the time Jay gave the order and the time the weapons reached its position. "Where did it go?" Jay demanded. "No energy trail, sir," his sensor operator reported. "The ship simply disappeared. It has to be somewhere. Find it." The sensor operator worked frantically. "Sir, I'm detecting multiple energy signatures. The human ship appears to be in 17 different locations at once." Jay looked at the tactical display. 17 identical ships surrounded his fleet. Each one was in a position where it could attack without the Imperial. Ships being able to support each other. "Impossible," he whispered. The human voice came from all 17 positions, simultaneously. "Admiral, your weapons cannot harm us, but ours can easily destroy your ships. We ask again that you withdraw peacefully. This is some kind of trick, holographic projections or advanced illusions. We understand your disbelief. We will provide a demonstration." One of the human ships moved toward an Imperial destroyer. It passed through the destroyer's shields as if they weren't there. Energy beams from the destroyer passed through the human ship without effect. Then the human ship fired a single weapon. The Imperial destroyer's power systems died instantly. Life support failed. Engines went offline. The ship became completely dead in space, but the hull remained intact and the crew was unharmed. "Your ship will recover full power in 1 hour," the human voice explained. "We have simply disrupted your energy flow temporarily. No permanent damage has been done." Hai was studying the sensor readings with growing amazement. "Admiral, this is incredible. The human weapon didn't destroy anything. It somehow convinced the ship's systems to stop working. How is that possible?" "I don't know. It's like they sent a message to every piece of equipment on that destroyer and told it to shut down. But machines don't receive messages like that." The human ships began moving around the Imperial fleet. They flowed between the battle cruisers like water, never colliding with anything, never in the same place for more than a few seconds. "They're not bound by normal physics," Hai said. "They exist partially in another dimension. That's why our weapons can't hit them and why they can move through our shields." "What kind of technology can do that?" "I have no idea. We've never even theorized about this kind of capability." Another Imperial ship lost power as a human vessel passed near it. Again, no damage was done to the hull or crew. "Admiral," the human voice said, "we could disable your entire fleet in minutes if we chose to. We prefer not to. Please order your ships to withdraw." Jay felt something he had never experienced in 40 years of military service. Complete helplessness. His most powerful fleet was useless against a single enemy ship. "What do you want from us?" he asked. "We want you to understand that there are forces in this galaxy beyond your current comprehension. We want you to stop expanding toward the galactic core where you will encounter species that will not show you the mercy we have shown." "You call this mercy?" "Admiral, predator species would have destroyed your entire fleet in the first 30 seconds of this encounter. They would have killed every crew member and used your ships for raw materials. Yes, this is mercy." Hai continued studying the sensor data. "Admiral, I'm detecting massive energy readings from the human ships. Whatever powers their technology is far beyond our fusion reactors. How much more powerful?" Each of their ships shows energy output equal to our entire fleet combined. And they're using that power just to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. I can't imagine what they could do if they used it all for weapons. The human ships began moving into a new formation. Instead of surrounding the Imperial fleet, they arranged themselves in a perfect sphere around all the Imperial vessels. We will now demonstrate why you should avoid contact with predator species, the human voice announced. The space around the Imperial fleet began to change. Stars that had been visible moments before were now blocked by massive shapes. Huge vessels were approaching from all directions. What you see approaching are holographic representations of a typical predator fleet, the human explained. We have encountered this particular species many times. They call themselves the Devourers. The holographic ships were enormous. Each one was larger than an Imperial battlecruiser. There were hundreds of them. The Devourers consume all organic life they encounter. They use the biological material to create more ships and more soldiers. A single Devourer fleet like this one has destroyed entire civilizations. The holographic fleet opened fire on the Imperial ships. The weapons passed harmlessly through the Imperial hulls, since they were only projections. But the sensor readings showed what would have happened. Your shields would have lasted approximately 4 seconds, the human voice noted. Your armor would have been penetrated in 8 seconds. Total destruction of your fleet would have been complete in 45 seconds. Jay stared at the tactical display. The simulated attack had torn through his fleet like it was made of paper. How do you fight something like that? He asked. Very carefully with technology they cannot detect and only when absolutely necessary. We have spent centuries learning how to avoid unnecessary conflicts with predator species. The holographic fleet vanished. The human ships returned to their scattered positions around the Imperial fleet. This is why we monitor this region of space. Young civilizations like yours attract the attention of predators. We try to guide developing species away from areas where they will encounter forces they cannot handle. Hai was analyzing everything she had seen. Admiral, if what they're showing us is real, then our expansion plans could lead us directly into contact with species that could end our civilization. Are there many predator species like the Devourers? Jay asked. 17 major ones that we actively track. The Devourers are actually among the more reasonable ones. They at least use their victims for resources. Some predator species destroy entire civilizations for sport. The weight of this information settled on Admiral Jay's mind. The Empire had always believed they were the strongest force in the galaxy. Now he was learning that they were protected children who had never encountered real danger. What should we tell our Emperor? He asked. Tell him that wisdom is more valuable than weapons. Tell him that the galaxy is far more dangerous than he imagines. And tell him that humanity offers guidance, not conquest. The human ships began to fade away. We hope your Empire chooses the path of wisdom. The alternative is extinction. The last human vessel vanished, leaving the Imperial fleet alone with their disabled ships and their shattered assumptions about their place in the galaxy. The emergency session of the Imperial Council lasted for 3 days. Fleet Admiral Tay, Admiral Jay, General Wu and Captain Bin presented their reports to the Emperor and his advisors. The evidence was overwhelming, but the implications were almost impossible to accept. The Valorian Empire was not the dominant force in the galaxy. Humanity existed with technology that made Imperial weapons look like primitive tools, and somewhere out there, predator species waited that could destroy the Empire in a matter of hours. I want one final encounter, the Emperor declared. Bring this human ship to the capital system. I want to hear their message directly. Commander Yu was chosen to carry the Imperial invitation. Her diplomatic ship was the fastest vessel in the fleet and carried the most advanced communication equipment the Empire possessed. She reached the Helios sector 3 days later and began broadcasting on all frequencies. Human vessel, this is Commander Yu of the Imperial Diplomatic Corps. The Emperor of the Valorian Empire requests a formal meeting to discuss the future of our civilizations. The response came immediately. Commander Yu, we will meet with your Emperor. However, the meeting will take place in your capital system. We will arrive in 72 hours. How do you know where our capital system is? We have been observing your empire for 3,000 years. We know the location of every imperial world, every military base, and every secret facility you have built. You felt a chill. Are you saying you've been spying on us for our entire history? We prefer the term monitoring. We watch all developing civilizations to assess their potential threat level and their readiness for contact with galactic society. What is our threat level? Moderate and growing. Your empire has shown aggressive expansion patterns and a willingness to destroy other civilizations for resources. However, you also show potential for wisdom and growth. That is why we are offering guidance instead of intervention. You transmitted the coordinates of the capital system, although she suspected the humans already knew them. We will be waiting for you, she said. 72 hours later, the human ship appeared in the heart of Imperial space. It materialized directly between the two largest orbital defense platforms that protected the capital world. The platforms had enough firepower to destroy entire fleets, but the human ship appeared completely unafraid. Every ship in the Imperial Navy was watching. The Emperor himself observed from his command center on the capital world's primary moon. Human vessel, this is Emperor Valdris of the Valorian Empire. You requested this meeting. I am prepared to listen to what you have to say. The human response carried a formality that hadn't been present in previous communications. Emperor Valdris, we are honored to address you directly. I am Captain Sarah Chen of the human exploration vessel Wanderer. I speak for the Terran Federation and our Galactic Monitoring Council. State your message. With your permission, I will transmit data that will help you understand your position in galactic civilization. Proceed. What followed was the most comprehensive intelligence briefing in Imperial history. The human ship transmitted detailed information about 17 predator species, their locations, their capabilities, and their expansion patterns. It included tactical analyses of Imperial military forces, complete with recommendations for improvement. Most disturbing of all, it contained personal files on every high-ranking Imperial officer, including details about their training, their families, and their psychological profiles. How do you have this information? The Emperor demanded. We monitor all electromagnetic transmissions from your worlds. We observe your military exercises. We analyze your cultural development through your entertainment broadcasts. We have been studying your civilization since your first spacecraft left your homeworld. Admiral J was reviewing the military analysis. Emperor, their assessment of our capabilities is completely accurate. They know more about our own forces than our own intelligence services do. Captain Chen continued. We are prepared to offer the Valorian Empire membership in the Galactic Monitoring Council. This organization consists of peaceful civilizations that work together to guide younger species and protect them from predator attacks. What would membership require? First, you must cease all aggressive expansion immediately. Second, you must release all conquered species and allow them to govern themselves. Third, you must begin development of defensive rather than offensive technologies. The Emperor was quiet for a long moment. And if we refuse, then we will withdraw our protection. Your current expansion course will bring you into contact with the Devourer fleet within 47 years. Without our guidance, your civilization will be completely destroyed. You speak of protection, but we never asked for it. No, you didn't, but we provided it anyway because we believe all intelligent life has value. For 3,000 years, we have quietly guided predator species away from your territory. We have prevented 4 separate invasions that would have ended your civilization. Engineer. So was analyzing the technical data the humans had transmitted. Emperor, they're sharing technological specifications that could advance our science by centuries. Dimensional manipulation, stellar energy collection, faster-than-light communication systems. Why would you give us such advanced technology? The Emperor asked. Because you will need it to survive what's coming. The galactic core is becoming more active. Predator species are being forced to expand outward. Within the next century, this entire region of space will become a war zone. Captain Chen's voice took on a more urgent tone. Emperor Valdris, humanity has survived in this galaxy for 10,000 years because we learned to work with other peaceful species rather than dominating them. We offer you the same chance. And if we choose to continue our current path, then you will face the consequences alone. We will not interfere with the natural result of your choices. The Emperor looked at the reports from his advisors. Every military expert agreed that the Empire could not survive against the predator species the humans had described. Every scientist confirmed that human technology was far beyond Imperial capabilities. How long do we have to decide? He asked. We will wait 1 standard year for your answer. During that time, we will continue to monitor predator movements and provide early warning of any immediate threats. After 1 year, you must choose your path. What happens to the other species we have conquered? They will be offered the same choice. Membership in the galactic community requires that all species be free to determine their own destiny. The human ship began to move away from the defense platforms. Captain Chen, the Emperor called. Are there other species like humanity? Other advanced civilizations that we haven't encountered? Yes. The Galactic Monitoring Council consists of 47 different species. We represent civilizations that have learned to survive through cooperation rather than conquest. You could join us or you could continue down the path that leads to extinction. Why do you care what happens to us? Because every intelligent species that survives makes the galaxy a little safer for all of us. And because we remember what it was like to be young and aggressive and convinced that strength was more important than wisdom. The human ship began to fade from view. You have 1 year, Emperor Valdris. Choose wisely. The ship vanished completely, leaving the Imperial fleet with a decision that would determine the fate of their entire civilization. Emperor Valdris looked at the data the humans had provided, detailed specifications for technologies that could transform Imperial society, maps of predator territories that could help them avoid dangerous encounters, and most importantly, proof that there was another way to exist in the galaxy. What do you recommend? He asked his advisors. Admiral J spoke first. Emperor, we cannot win a war against the predator species they've described. Our only choice is to accept their guidance. General Wu nodded. The technology they're offering could make us safer than any weapon we've ever built. Engineer So added. The stellar energy collection systems alone could power our entire civilization for millions of years. Captain Bin said, They've shown us mercy when they could have destroyed us. That suggests they can be trusted. The Emperor was quiet for a long time. Finally he spoke. Draft a message to all conquered species. Inform them that they are free to choose their own governments. Halt all military expansion immediately, and begin planning for membership in this Galactic Monitoring Council. Yes, Emperor. And send a message to Captain Chen. Tell her that the Valorian Empire chooses wisdom over strength. As the orders went out across Imperial space, the Emperor realized that this was not the end of their civilization. It was the beginning of something much larger and more important than any empire. Somewhere in the depths of space, humanity continued its eternal watch, protecting younger species and guiding them toward a better future. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but it was also full of possibilities for those wise enough to seek them.